the summer of 2019, Amber Portwood seemed to have it all: sobriety, money, a son, custody of her daughter Leah, and a good man. But it all came crashing down when news broke that Amber Portwood had been arrested for domestic violence yet again on the morning of July 5th, 2019.
I received a text message from somebody saying that their wife and their son's wife is in danger.
The Indianapolis Metropolitan Police Department revealed in a statement, just after 3 a.m. on July 5th, officers were called to address reference a disturbance. Officers spoke to the male victim, who stated his live-in girlfriend and he were having a disagreement, during which time the female, later identified as Amber Portwood, assaulted him while he was holding their 1-year-old child. Amber's co-stars and family rushed to be by her side. Amber Portwood was headed back to prison in 2019. And on July 9th, Andrew Glennon officially filed for paternity and custody of his son James. What happened next, no one saw coming.
In the bedroom. I love you more than life itself.
Why don't you take pictures of this stuff, you
Babe, there's nothing to take pictures of.
Oh, well, I don't know. There's stuff right here.
Babe,
No, that's you. You're a little See, I bet you if you got in trouble, you would sit there and take down 30 people.
Huh?
Yeah, you would, because you get raped.
In the weeks following Amber's arrest, audio clips like this one were leaked on the YouTube channel Without a Crystal Ball. On this channel, you can find several clips of Amber verbally abusing Andrew in front of their son. On Friday, July 5th, 2019, at approximately 3:12 a.m., Officer Salisbury with the IMPD was dispatched to Anchorage Drive to investigate a domestic disturbance between boyfriend and girlfriend cohabitants. Mr. Glennon stated that he and his girlfriend Amber had been in a verbal altercation at approximately 2 a.m. on July 5th. Mr. Glennon stated that during the course of the argument, Miss Portwood grew increasingly agitated until she struck him with her shoe in the right side of his neck, causing pain and abrasions. Officer Salisbury observed redness and abrasion to the right side of Mr. Glennon's neck and called for an evidence technician to take photos. Mr. Glennon stated that Miss Portwood struck him with her shoe in the neck while he was holding their son, James, in his right arm. James was unharmed. Mr. Glennon also stated that Miss Portwood has struck him several times in the past and has threatened him countless other times with physical violence. Officer Salisbury read Miss Portwood her Miranda rights, and she stated that she understood and wanted to speak to Officer Salisbury. Miss Portwood stated that she did indeed strike Mr. Glennon with a shoe, but stated that it was in the shoulder and I barely hit him. Miss Portwood stated that she struck Mr. Glennon because she was frustrated that he was recording her yelling. Andrew Glennon told the Department of Child Services that last year they drove to the Geist Bridge for fireworks and they went again this year. Mr. Glennon stated it was crowded this year and they were unable to get through the traffic. Mr. Glennon stated that Miss Portwood made him feel like he, quote-unquote, dropped the ball on plans to see fireworks because the roads were blocked. Mr. Glennon stated he then tried to find an alternative route. Mr. Glennon stated Miss Portwood then bashed his character. Mr. Glennon stated he dropped Miss Portwood off at the house and he took James and drove around to let Miss Portwood cool off. Mr. Glennon stated he called the helpline and they told him the roads would be back open in about 30 minutes. Mr. Glennon stated he went back to the home to tell her and the door was locked. Mr. Glennon stated when he got inside the home, Miss Portwood grabbed his shoe off the shoe rack and hit him with it. Mr. Glennon stated he was holding James and he turned to the side to avoid him getting struck with the shoe. Andrew stated he then left with James. Mr. Glennon stated he kept calling her to gauge where she was at mentally and if things had cooled down. Mr. Glennon stated it turned out her phone was in the car and that was why she was not answering. Andrew then stated he drove around for about 3 hours, got her a gift, and brought her food. Mr. Glennon stated he went back home, he went upstairs, and Miss Portwood was coming at him like she was going to hit him. Mr. Glennon stated Miss Portwood told him to put James down. Mr. Glennon stated that James was crying and upset and he was not going to put him down. Mr. Glennon became visibly upset and stated Miss Portwood then threatened to kill herself. Mr. Glennon stated Miss Portwood went to her drawer and took a handful of Klonopin and tossed it back like it was nothing. Mr. Glennon stated he told Miss Portwood he was going to call for help. Mr. Glennon stated Miss Portwood then regurgitated the pills. Mr. Glennon stated Miss Portwood picked up a machete towards him and James. Mr. Glennon stated he locked himself and James into the office. Mr. Glennon stated she hit the door with the machete and kicked the door and broke the handle. Andrew stated this is when he called for help. Mr. Glennon stated Miss Portwood then broke down and started crying. Mr. Glennon stated he took James downstairs and Miss Portwood was sitting at the top of the stairs, talking and crying. Mr. Glennon stated he met with Geist Patrol and they called for backup when Miss Portwood started yelling at the officer. Mr. Glennon stated they both gave their story to the officer. Mr. Glennon stated that Miss Portwood denied the incident with the pills and the machete, but admitted to hitting him while he was holding James, and that is what she was arrested for. Detective Linda White stated that Miss Portwood has the machete as a means of protection as she is unable to possess a firearm. Mr. Glennon stated that Miss Portwood got the machete after hearing a gunshot in the neighborhood. Andrew also told Detective Linda White that he was holding the door as Amber then used the machete and began using it to put slashes on the door. In the days following her arrest, Amber finally broke her silence by going on an angry Instagram Live.
When you say that I stood up my fucking son to do that interview, no, you're jealous. That's what that is. That's nothing. That's all that is. Like, you are disgusting. That's the type of person he is then. And when I say you, I'm not talking directly to him, but if he sees it, I don't give a Like, I will say, like, literally to everybody, if he keeps playing with me, I'll throw all that dirt out. I'll get dirty. If you've been dirty since day one. Day one. I had to find that out 2 years later. Looking back at bank statements, looking back at all this shit. I'm not even supposed to be saying half of this stuff right now, but I don't care. Like, I admitted my fault that night. I have not been in trouble for 10 years. Like, stop playing with me. I will not protect your family name. Not going to anymore. In fact, there's some stuff. Shit. Dude, you got two restraining orders. Do not make me talk about you. And I'm saying this to you guys, the fans. Like, I can't talk to him. I have a new contact order. I can talk to him. I'm saying to you guys, I'm not gonna have this slander against my name for too much longer. It's been long enough. You run. All he does is run to the media and say the nasty.
Now, here we are faced with a dilemma. The angry, convicted felon of prior domestic abuse, or do we believe the man who brings audio proof of his abuse? Obviously, we believe Andrew, which would indicate Amber was victim blaming. Amber was acting out the very core of an individual with borderline personality disorder. The definition of a sociopath is someone with complete disregard for other humans. Those with this mental disorder tend to lie, break laws, lack regard for others, display deceitfulness, hostility, irresponsibility, manipulativeness, aggression, and a lack of restraint. Amber's brother Sean came to Amber's defense on Twitter after all the audio leaks were revealed. One tweet said, "Stay tuned for the surprise ending. Everything's not all it's cracked up to be." We are a country of innocent until proven guilty. However, a lot of you are guilty until proven innocent. Because of that, those of you who have all these negative and hateful things to say about my sister will be blocked. I have no problem blocking every one of you. The negativity and hatred from some of you is horrible. You people act like I should quit my job, move back to Indiana, and hold my sister's hand and bring her to a therapist every single day. I talk to her, I try to help her, and I will always protect her. You people act like Andrew is made of roses. Yes, she did wrong and she said wrong, but don't believe just that little tidbit of what you heard. You heard only what he wanted you to hear, and automatically that makes her such a horrible person. I've never said that every decision my sister made has been right. I've also never condoned her attitude ever, but I do know that what's happening to her is unfair. I will protect my sister because I know all of the good that she has done as well. If you don't like it, oh well. I want to make something abundantly clear real quick. I financially support myself 100%, and I am in no way under contract with MTV and do not get paid by the show. I have got a lot of criticism over the last couple of days for being by my sister's side. I love my sister, and I never want to see her fail, hurt, or be sad in life. I want the best for her and nothing more. I can never step from beside my sister and speak badly about her. This is why I continuously say things like I do not condone her actions, and even now her actions cannot be justified in many ways. The continual nature of some of the things she said 4 minutes on in were not right or fair. She should have never said that, and I've told her that, and now more than ever I believe she knows that. Nobody wants to be in this position, just like Andrew didn't want to be in that position when she was saying those things, but I'm always going to stand by my sister's side no matter what she does. I will never give up on my sister, and I will continue to try to help her in any way. I know that she's a better person than what she's portrayed herself to be, especially with these audio clips. To believe she's not is to believe that people are unredeemable, and that's not true. Shortly after, Amber went on Instagram Live once again to talk about her mental health diagnosis.
Speak specifically about the things that I have, but I am educated on other things as well. After I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder, borderline personality disorder, and also anxiety, depression, social anxiety, and things like that. So,
was Amber Portwood finally indirectly coming clean and admitting that she still had a problem? Because on October 23, 2019, court records indicate that Amber and Andrew had reached an agreement. According to the website The Ashley's Reality Roundup, who exclusively obtained the mediation agreement that was made earlier this month between Andrew, Amber, and the Department of Child Services, it states that Andrew will have primary physical custody of James, but Amber and Andrew will share joint legal custody of the boy. They are ordered to follow the Indiana State Parenting Guidelines, which can be found online at the Indiana website. According to E! News and Us Weekly, Amber has reached a plea deal in her domestic battery case and will not serve time in prison. Do you think her punishment was fair? Sound off in the comments below, and please like and share this video if you'd like to see more content like this.